Chelsea on The Young and the Restless has led quite a life, so some viewers might not be familiar with the character's entire dramatic history, which is where we come in. Initially introduced as scheming con artist when Melissa Claire Egan first joined the soap back in November of 2011, Chelsea eventually softened and enjoyed a relatively normal life, at least by Genoa City standards. But then she reverted back to her old ways and skipped town in February of 2018. Still, Egan said at the time that this is only goodbye for now, and that turned out to be very true as she returned in June of 2019 to stir up even more drama. However, the actress took maternity leave to welcome her first child, so Chelsea was off the canvas for the fall of 2021. Chelsea Lawson showed up in Genoa City to inform Billy Abbott that she was pregnant with his baby after they'd slept together in Myanmar. After a DNA test proved the baby was Billy's, he and Victoria allowed Chelsea to move in with them. When her mother, Anita Lawson, arrived, Chelsea wanted nothing to do with her because she was a con artist. Billy and Victoria also learned that Victor Newman was behind bringing both Chelsea and Anita to town in the hopes of splitting them up. Chelsea prayed that Billy and Victoria would raise her baby. Paul Skipper / JPSstudios.com realizing she had no place in her life for a baby, Chelsea agreed to give up her parental rights to Billy and Victoria. During her pregnancy, she became close with Adam Newman as they bonded over being judged for their past mistakes. After fighting with Victoria about her relationship with Adam, Chelsea ran off and Adam found her nearly drowned in a frozen lake and helped her deliver her son, Johnny, in a cabin. Adam continued to support Chelsea as she turned down Victor's money to leave town, got a job as a bartender, and studied for her GED. Adam proposed and the two were married at his childhood home in Kansas. She got pregnant, but lost the baby in a car accident caused by Summer Newman. Grieving her child, Chelsea was further angered to learn that Adam was helping Sharon and later caught them kissing. Adam agreed they could move to Paris, but when he was unable to abandon his work at Newman, Chelsea demanded a divorce. Working as a fashion designer with Chloe Mitchell, Chelsea wanted to tell Adam that she was pregnant with his baby, but her friend urged her not to. Since she'd had a one-night stand with Dylan McAvoy, Chelsea decided to claim he was the baby daddy. Having grown closer together, Dylan invited Chelsea to move in with him so he could be a part of his child's life. When he proposed, Chelsea happily agreed to marry him. After they tied the knot, she went into labor and delivered her son, Connor. Chelsea gave Dylan a very unique wedding gift, a baby. Sean Smith / JPSstudios.com. But when the newborn was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, Adam quickly realized Connor was his son. Confronted by both men, Chelsea tearfully confessed the truth, and Dylan left her. When Adam invited her and Connor to live with him, she agreed, and they eventually remarried. Connor required a corneal transplant, and in a tragic turn of events, he got them from Delia Abbott after she was killed in a hit-and-run. Even worse, Chelsea discovered that Adam had been the driver. After Adam was presumed dead when his car exploded, a vengeful Chloe attempted to kidnap Connor. Next, Chelsea found herself growing closer with Billy, though it took her a while to let him into her heart. But soon, Adam returned to Genoa City with a new face, calling himself Gabriel Bingham. He began to ingratiate himself into Chelsea's life despite being in a relationship with Sage. Despite being engaged to Billy, Chelsea fell into bed with Gabriel. When Billy found out, he dumped her and Chelsea began dating Gabriel, who she was stunned to discover was really Adam. "Oh yeah, you're definitely Adam." Sean Smith / JPSstudios.com. Adam hoped to maintain the Gabriel ruse because he was a wanted man, but ultimately the truth came out. He was arrested and sentenced to prison for Delia's death, but Adam's heroic actions in a fire and some blackmail from Victor helped get him off with just probation and community service. Chelsea and Adam were happily reunited, and he even came clean to her that Sage's baby was his, not Nick's. But then Victor framed his son for the murder of Constance Bingham, and as he was planning to go on the run with Chelsea, Adam was killed in an explosion. Nick and Chelsea became close, and she continued to keep Adam's secret that he was really Christian's father. Their relationship soon became romantic, and Nick and Christian soon moved in with Chelsea. She was a little taken aback when she ran into Jordan Wild, who was a fellow con artist from the bad old days. Nick struggled with Chelsea's past but eventually got over it. But after Nick found $250,000 in an air vent in the condo and someone began siphoning money from Fenmores through a bogus website, it was revealed that Chelsea was behind it. Did everyone go before we left? Howard Wise/JapaStudios.com. Chelsea initially planned to leave town with the money and both boys, but after a change of heart, returned Christian to Nick. When Adam returned to Genoa City in the spring of 2019, it was revealed that Nick knew where Chelsea was, and also that she had remarried. Chelsea returned to Genoa City to try and put things right, and she was followed by her husband, Calvin Boudreau. Unfortunately, shortly after he arrived, Calvin died unexpectedly, leaving Chelsea a widow. Of course, that didn't stop Adam from trying to convince her that she should come back to him. Although choosing to re-establish her relationship with Nick, Chelsea couldn't get Adam out of her life because Connor was desperate to be with his father. Chelsea also came into a great deal of money after Calvin's death, and she asked Kevin to help launder it for her. Unfortunately, a dangerous man named Simon Black arrived in Genoa City looking to collect the money Calvin owed him. Thankfully, he was quickly thwarted, but Connor was traumatized by being taken hostage by the villain and began acting out to bring his parents back together. Nick stepped down for Connor's sake and let Chelsea reunite with Adam to make a family for their son, and Adam suggested leaving Genoa City to relocate to Paris. That ended up not happening, but he did propose and Chelsea happily accepted. She began working to revive her fashion line and traveled to Kansas with Adam to visit Hope's farm as a possible wedding venue. This led them straight into a mystery where they learned Alyssa Montalvo was investigating her father's death and Victor was the prime suspect. Calling their relationship a roller coaster would be an understatement. Howard Wise/JapaStudios.com. Chelsea swore to help Adam get back his CEO position at Newman, and stood by him as he blackmailed Victor with knowledge of the long-ago murder in order to get it. But then Victor revealed the shocking twist that an 11-year-old Adam was AJ Montalvo's real killer. Chelsea was floored, but vowed to stand by her man. At least until he turned to Sharon and jealousy caused her to walk out on him. Chelsea eventually returned to Adam's side, but when she discovered his diabolical plan for revenge and tried to talk him out of it, she found herself trapped in an elevator and then abducted. She stayed with Chloe temporarily, but Chelsea eventually worked things out with Adam. Unfortunately, their plans were ruined when Chelsea's headaches turned out to be a brain aneurysm. She finally agreed to see a doctor, but while waiting for surgery, her aneurysm burst, and Chelsea was rushed to the hospital. She survived emergency surgery, but the incident left her immobile and unable to speak. Adam has hired the best doctors and nurses to treat Chelsea, but when he suspected there were psychological reasons for her lack of progress, he hired Sharon to be her therapist. Trapped in her body, Chelsea has been jealous of Adam and Sharon, and he hopes that anger will spark a recovery. It seemed to do the trick, as Chelsea regained her movement and voice, but she kept her progress a secret from everyone but Chloe as she framed Adam for poisoning Ray Rosales. When her scheme was exposed, Chelsea faked an emotional breakdown and was committed to a mental hospital, a deal she'd struck with Victor to avoid jail time. When she learned the doctor wanted to keep her there until she was actually well, Chelsea flipped out and tried to blackmail him. Eventually, Chelsea was released on an outpatient basis so she could go take care of her mother, Anita, who had broken her hip. And in December 2021, she was back in Genoa City to stir up even more drama. Stay tuned to Y&R to see how Chelsea's story continues. Ad block test, why?